He lay sprawled on the worn rug, the weight of the world pressing down on him. Another day had dissolved into a haze of frustration and defeat. His eyes, reflecting the dull glow of the city lights filtering through the window, were filled with a deep, gnawing emptiness. He was adrift in a sea of self-doubt, the label loser echoing relentlessly in his mind. Each day felt like an uphill battle against an invisible current, pulling him further into the abyss of despair. His thoughts were a chaotic whirlwind of past failures and regrets. He saw flashes of missed opportunities, broken promises, and dreams left unrealized. The memory of Sarah's rejection, her laughter still ringing in his ears, was a fresh wound on his soul. He was trapped in a cage of his own making, the bars forged from self-pity and the fear of further disappointment. The air hung heavy with the stench of stale cigarettes and unfulfilled potential. He closed his eyes, desperately seeking an escape from the torment within. The silence of his small, cluttered apartment mocked his loneliness. The weight of his perceived failures pressed down on him, suffocating him with its intensity. He was drowning in a sea of self-loathing, the surface of hope a distant shimmer. A ray of sunlight, piercing through a gap in the curtains, jolted him awake. Groaning, he sat up, the events of the previous night still fresh in his mind. As he stumbled towards the window, a flash of color caught his eye. Across the street, in the usually desolate park, a lone figure stood out against the muted greens and browns. She was painting, her easel propped against a weathered bench, her movements fluid and graceful. Her hair, a cascade of fiery red, caught the sunlight like spun gold. He watched, mesmerized, as she brought the canvas to life with bold strokes of color. There was a vibrancy about her, an aura of untamed spirit that drew him in like a moth to a flame. He found himself drawn to the park day after day, his gaze drawn to her like a beacon in the darkness. He observed her from afar, too intimidated to approach, his heart pounding in his chest. Her laughter, carried on the breeze, was a melody that chipped away at the walls he had built around himself. Hope, a fragile seedling in the wasteland of his heart, began to stir.